My name's Sky Robinson. I am Executive Chef and Director of Restaurants for Condé Nast International Restaurants. And we are, I guess you could call us, we're a brand extension of the core business of Condé Nast. As everybody knows, we are an incredible company publishing some of the most iconic media the world over. Some of our titles are household names: Vogue, GQ, Tatler, and so on. And what we're doing now in the world of restaurants is taking those incredible titles and branching out into quite a new sphere. It's a non-core business, as I said, of the parent company. But we represent the brands. We represent them through lifestyle. It is like a 3D incarnation of the magazines. And that's what we're out there to achieve. We're doing these wonderful restaurants, cafes, bars, clubs, and really bringing the brands to life in a 3D environment. Well, we've got some really diverse brands. We've got an amazing portfolio, which we haven't even scratched the surface yet at Condé Nast. But we, in the world of restaurants, we represent 3 brands as it stands at the moment. We represent Vogue through Vogue cafes and Vogue lounges. We also represent GQ in GQ bars and Tatler in Tatler clubs. And they're 3 quite different titles. As you can imagine, the readership of those 3 magazines are quite different people. And but as a default of that, we've set those restaurants up to be quite different experiences. So for Vogue, for example, Vogue, obviously looking inside what the world of Vogue is, we replicate that through what the experience is in the restaurants. It's light, it has a feminine touch to it, it's very clean, it's very forward-thinking. It's a real restaurant. These are real restaurants and places where the food that we serve is actually the real deal. Into GQ and GQ bars, obviously it's a masculine magazine, a masculine title. It's in the world of bars rather than the world of restaurants, so it's a bit more drink-driven. It's a place to go more of an evening. It's generally a darker space. It's a much more robust space. And then Tatler, I guess Tatler Club is our, call it our wild card. It's that iconic magazine that we love, not putting a finger on it, if you like. It's our oldest magazine to date. It's quite cheeky. It's quite thought-provoking. And in a Tatler Club, it's a bit more, hedonistic is not the right word. It's probably a word that I shouldn't have used. But it's a place where we let our hair down a little bit more. It's a bit more about champagne culture. It's a bit more of a place to go to party. So the 3 quite different looks and feels of the 3 genres that we represent at the moment. I think it's really important that we, in the world of our restaurants for Condé Nast, continue with this bold move in this bold direction. It's no secret to anybody that we're investing heavily in digital as a further extension in the publishing world. And it gives another platform for the Condé Nast, these wonderful Condé Nast brands to be shared and to be used and to be loved. And that's what we're doing in the restaurants. You know, we're finding ourselves in spaces where people can experience the world of Condé Nast. We can experience what the titles really represent, but in a way that you can actually taste it and feel it and smell it and live it. And we find that people come to our restaurants and they sit for hours and hours on end, which is fabulous. It's wonderful to see and experience where they're really absorbing it. And you can get so much from the pages of the magazines, and you can learn so much, you can educate yourself so much, but there's nothing quite like living it. And that's the core of what we do. Well, we're currently in so many different markets and coming into so many different markets. We've got 2 restaurants in Dubai, we've got 2 in Moscow, we have 1 in Kiev, 1 in Bangkok. This year, 2017, we're moving into established Europe. We're moving into Germany, 2 restaurants, in fact, sorry, 1 restaurant, 1 bar in Berlin. Again, another folly into the Middle East. We're opening 2 in Doha. We're opening in Kuala Lumpur. As you can see, the spread is quite global. Our brands are instantly recognized globally for quality and excellence, but we take the food and beverage element of it and we localize. We make sure that we actually do what's right for the local market. As we've seen, and we learn everything. We learn everything that we do from the magazines themselves, from the parent titles. And you'll see that a Chinese Vogue compared to a US Vogue compared to a British Vogue are quite different, because they've style themselves for the local readership and for the local market. We do exactly the same with the food offering, exactly the same with the drinks, and make sure that we don't just become this this fly-by-night restaurant experience. We actually make sure that we look after the local customers. Anybody else looking to go from a core business, which is non-food and beverage, into food and beverage and do brand extensions like we've done, you've got to keep it real. You've got to actually apply the basic fundamental building blocks of what a restaurant could and should be, rather than just trying to dress up an extension of your current business. Like I said, we've built our team around restaurant expertise, bar expertise, chef expertise, and I think the way that we're applying that skill into this wonderful world of restaurants is the only way that we could do it properly. The future is exciting. The future has got so much going on. We've got a ton of openings scheduled for this year. We have even more in store beyond that. Things that I would love to talk about, but not quite yet, because there's so much on the plate that's coming. Our pipeline is very strong. We are constantly looking at the strategy and where we could and should be. We want to be in diverse and dynamic locations. We want to be in places that make sense to the brand. We want to be in places where there is a strong food culture and a restaurant scene that's challenging and it is fun to be in. And I have every faith that this is going to be something that will continue to grow, continue to be admired and adored. And we're very strategic and careful about what we do and where we go. So, the risk-taking part of it is there because restaurants are risky, but we make sure that we are placing our restaurant concepts in good hands, in good locations, because we want this to last for a very long time. Success can be measured in so many different ways. You can apply numbers to it, you can apply footfall to it, you can put lots of data behind it. But for me, success in our restaurants is when somebody comes and realizes why we've done it. They've come in and they've got that experience of the brand. They've come in and they've felt like they've walked into the pages of the magazine. When somebody comes to one of our Vogue cafes and they feel like they've experienced that little slice of Vogue that they can't necessarily get from the magazine, and they book to return, I think that for me is success.